Protect yourself, as we're hearing that every American citizen in the United States has just been hacked. Every American social security number, your address, your phone number, personal information has likely been hacked, stolen, and now sold on the dark web. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest details on this, what they are saying has unfolded, what you need to do if you do not have some sort of form of identity protection, fraud in place. We're going to cover all the details for you. These articles are linked in the description below. And yes, I noticed it myself. I do have identity protection for me and my family. I got notifications today that my daughter's information was compromised. It was found sold on the dark web. My son's, and later on I found out myself and my wife's as well. And then this coming out today that this actually has happened to every person in the United States of America. Literally, not just the United States, but entire nations. And I'm going to be sharing with you how this has unfolded, as they are saying chances are your information has been compromised. Almost positive, the vast majority, if not every single person in the United States, your information, your social security, your address, your personal information, it has been compromised in probably the largest hack we have ever seen. Now, do me a favor. I'm going to dive into this, get you the details, what it is that you need to know, what you should do for yourself and your family to protect yourself. And if you appreciate that, do me a favor, please hit that like button before we dive in, even though I know that nobody likes this, nobody wants to hear this, but what it does is it helps spread this out further so more people can get this information. In addition to that, if you want to take it a step further, you can actually share this video across your social media platforms. Please share it out so people know what it is that's happening and what they can do to prepare themselves, and also to stay up to date on the news as it comes out. Please hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, so that way you can stay up to date on everything that's going on. Now, let me share you this one coming out from Fox Live News. But again, this is coming out all over the news media outlets. Every American social security number, their address, has been stolen in a hack. Now, here's the brief of what we're going to be covering here. A hacking group called USDOD claims to have stolen 2.7 billion in records of personal information from Americans, including your social security number and your physical address. USDOD offers to sell your stolen records, which includes personal data for everyone in the United States. Also, they took everyone in the UK and everyone in Canada. And this is to a forum of hackers, of which they are posting this and selling it. The data was stolen from the National Public Data. So this is from the NPD, the National Public Data, which is a platform that offers personal information to employees, private investigators, staffing agencies, and others doing background checks. So if you have ever had a background check done on you for any reason, you guys, your information has been compromised, even if it's not you, but you're a relative of somebody. Like I said, my small children, we're hearing that their identities, their information has been stolen, it's been hacked, it has been placed on the dark web. So you are going to want to take precautions. And they're going to be sharing with you how, if you have not done anything yet, this is the fire alarm.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Habakakadash. I'm going to like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Rule Will. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in this gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another lesson through the Spirit. Could this bring about the MOTB? Could this bring about the mark of the beast? Or is this another way that they can institute the mark of the beast, which is known as the micro C-hip, which we affectionately here the Great Millstone call it the MOT to the busy. Yet as of yesterday, which this is old news to be honest with you, because honestly speaking, like, our information has been leaked. Like, the government has been selling our information for decades. And this is why, especially during the time of the pandemic, but even beyond then, or prior to then, spam calls, robocalls, text messages. I mean, you're part of a public database and they sell your information to third-party vendors. I mean, it happens all the time. Even when you download these apps, it tells you in the fine print if you want to opt out, or if you have certain permissions that they can sell your information to certain groups, and you can expect solicited calls or emails and all this other stuff. Because I received a phone call maybe a couple of months ago, and they happen from time to time where they send an email with your name on it, with this fake account number and saying, well, hey, contact this number so we can get into your account and play this or you owe that debt. So one time I touched the water and I called the number and it was a bunch of Punjabs on the other end of the line. And I was kind of playing games with them, you know, and asking them for certain information that they couldn't really give me. That's why I kind of knew it was a scam. Years ago, they did it with an IRS thing too. You know, an IRS agent contacted me and stated like, oh, you got to pay $1,200 before 12 o'clock or we going to send the authorities to your house. I'm like, I don't even owe taxes. Like, fuck you talking about? And then he was giving me all these ways I can pay. And I was just kind of just listening to him. And I was like, yeah, this is some bullshit. And I hung up. 12 o'clock came, no authority showed up. Because it was fine. Because for one thing, the IRS ain't going to call you. All right, say you owe anything. They're going to send a letter or they just going to take your shit. They not going to tell you, hey, look, you got to 12 o'clock to pay us $500. You know, but that's Esau. He sets up his little splinter cells and his little hacker groups. And, you know, he pays these corporations to do that to bring about chaos, instability. And to be technically honest with you, humans supposed to be sovereign, but under this corporation, we're all linked into this government database through social security numbers, okay, which is nothing more but a prison number. Okay, so you better believe that this government is giving your slave ID out to these other corporations, and they do it purposely. You know, especially when you're scrolling online, they got access to all this stuff. But is this another way that they can use to institute the MOTB, a cyber breach? And I would say so. And not only this way, but it's part of a system of ways they can implement this, because this is what they have to do. They have to break you down mentally, psychologically. Okay, and they have to put it into the mindset that you are in imminent danger. So therefore, they start attacking the public sectors, the banking sectors, then they attack the security sectors, and then the medical things. And before you know it, people going to get these unsolicited medical calls and medical bills in their name stating you owe this much. Your medical information has been hacked, X, Y, and Z. And that way, when their collapse come, they could say that we're under a particular imminent threat of a security or cyber breach, which we've been getting hit with cyber attacks for the last 15, 20 plus years. But as of recent, they've been shedding the light on it. Okay, since this whole, you know what, began back in 2020, basically they've been getting hit with cyber attacks, and mainly this year and last year, they've been getting hit with cyber attacks like every other week. So these are all venues Esau can use to push that MOTB down your throat once everything goes to hell. Okay, at least that's just how I look at it. That's just my spiritual insight on that. Okay, but the average person, they're not hip or privy to the hell that's coming to Babylon the Great, because they're so wrapped up in their phones and their social media. You know, they're totally desensitized to it. And you could blame Esau for it because he puts these mere distractions in front of people. And when people are distracted, they can't really formulate a plan to come from under the what do you call the witchcraft, I'll say it that way, or the sorcery. Because right now you think people will be bugging out. And I mean, people probably are calling their banks because they're requiring people or telling people, well, hey, look, you need to call in and freeze your credit and do all this and this and that. That way can't nobody pull from your file. But retrospectively, you would think that they will give you these particular monitoring programs for free. You know, like in some program, like if you go to Experian.com and you download the app, you got what they call, they can monitor your credit. And if you pay a certain amount a year or a month, then they can ping you and get your information off the dark web. But since this is a security breach on their behalf and they totally at fault, they should just give everybody the free service a year. But this is just another way that they can capitalize off people's miseries and fear. So this is a totally wicked system, man. You know, it ain't the people's fault that they shit got hacked. Esau sold your information to these people. And another way, too, they can go about doing this is blaming Iran, because found out that those cyber attacks, they allegedly found 6 Iranian nationals that was behind these cyber breaches and all this other shit. But wait a minute, man, you were the one that allowed them to come over here. So it makes sense that maybe you were the one that sold them the information in the first place or gave them the credentials to hack the CIA database. Okay, they show you in movies all the time that the United States government trade and they buy secrets and they sell secrets and sell people's identities to these different governments. so they can create certain agendas to be justified on pushing certain laws and legislations to keep people asleep, man. Okay, it's all a sick game of cat and mouse. And this is what you stupid people here don't realize. So I got an article here. And this is just another way it's showing you that America, Babylon the Great, is being broken down. I mean, this is just another form of the collapse. All right, a beast doesn't defeats overnight, but it's a multi-dimensional system. You may weaken one area, but you still have to weaken a particular area for the whole system to go down. So Babylon is being broken down systematically. All right, but it says every American social security number, address, Salaki had some of my teeth, may have been stolen in a hack. It says a hacking group called the US DOD claim to have stolen 2.7 billion records of personal information from Americans, including their social security numbers and physical addresses. It ain't the fact they stealing, they gave it to them. You know, it says the US DOD offered to sell stolen records, which including data, personal data for everyone in the US, UK, and Canada, to form of hackers. It says the data was stolen from the National Public Database. Wait a minute, why are people's sensitive information on public databases? You see? So that already right there, that's screaming volatility right there. This system has been volatile since it's been set up because, for one thing, you don't docket everybody by freaking slave numbers, which is a social security number, state IDs, driver's license, birth certificates. Those are all receipts and slavery receipts, man. If you have a tax ID number and you pay taxes, you have a driver's license or a state ID, government issued ID, a social security number or a birth certificate, guess what? You are what they considered a slave. But it says here, a platform that offer personal information to employers, private investigators, staffing agencies, and others doing background checks. So wait a minute, man. Jobs do background checks. So in this case, your corporation should pay for you to get your information removed off the dark web. Because honestly speaking, this can be a national lawsuit against the United States government. If people really understood how to play their cards, you can sue the United States government for billions, if not trillions, because technically they're supposed to, quote unquote, protect your information. But people ain't going to really pursue it because people don't care. That isn't la la land, man. But I don't see no effects of it now, so I ain't going to worry about it until 5 years later when you can't apply for a loan or when you can't get an apartment because somebody done stole your information. All right. But anyway, I got a couple of precepts real quick. This is the book of Psalm 64. And let's start at verses 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. Yeah, a snare is a trap. Okay, and they're doing all this from behind the scenes, but yet they're making it a public issue. It says, they say, who shall see them? It reads, they search out iniquities and they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, okay, because they have what they call think tanks. And when they go across their particular families, they sit at the round table and they conjure up these plans to foil mankind's livelihood, you know, to tax people to death, to go up on interest rates. Like a lot of people in Chicago is complaining now because a migrant got $10,000 a month in food stamps and over $3,000 in cash. You know, people are complaining about that, but yet you going to work every day trying to keep the lights on and you barely could put groceries in your house. This is all done through deceit and through the left-hand means. Okay, this is why the only thing for you Israelites to do is come back to the law, statutes, and commandments and repent, man. Okay, because this system is going to go down. Whether they attempt to fix it or whether they heal it, it's still going to go down. So this is the Lord showing you, look, the Titanic hit the iceberg. The Lord is saying, look, get in the lifeboats, man. Get in the lifeboats. And it was all spiritual, though, because in the lifeboats, they didn't even have half the capacity. I think the lifeboat was able to hold up to 50, 60 people. And they say at times only 17 people got on a lifeboat, 24, 10 people, which represents the elect, because the elect is a small number. So most of you people are going to just die on this ship because you didn't heed the warning. Okay. But it says here, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, the mind. It says, but the Most High should shoot at them with an arrow, and they should suddenly be wounded, which that arrow goes first and foremost into this truth. Okay? This is why they want to shut down the internet, and this is why they said the only way to do away with the information that's coming out that's exposing these elites is through a EMP strike or some type of national cyber outage. Because as long as there's internet, truth content will be leaked no matter what. They can do what they want to do to stop it. The only how they can stop this thing is if they shut it down completely. And they can't shut it down completely because they themselves operate within this World Wide Web. Okay? Let's go to the book of Micah 2. And I'm going to start at verses 2 and 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand to do so. Yeah. You know, your congressmen, and not even that, really the elites, they give the orders down to the president, you know, then they go to Congress, and then they go to their particular legislators, you know, to their senators, to their mayors, to their governors, and it all trickles down from the top. And then they come up with these biased laws to keep people in utter confusion, man. And it's going to come a time that the people are going to revolt against this place, because now people are really fed up, especially with the life of this society or this country hanging in the balance of this upcoming election. And then all of a sudden you got a national emergency for monkeypox. So people are kind of seeing through the folly. But it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they said every American person is compromised right now, meaning every last one of us. So now Esau can capitalize off that. We'll call and get protection. But wait a minute, you got to pay for it. Why do we got to pay for something that clearly wasn't our fault? You know? But it says a group of hackers claims to have stolen personal information from several months ago from a data broker, and a member of the group reportedly shared the most of the sensitive data in an online form of stolen data, which means bank accounts, social security numbers, all that. You know, so money start coming up out of your bank account. This is why. And low key, CIA can be behind all this shit because, you know, they need more money to fund the war. They need more money to fund these migrants. Okay, $10,000 a month in food stamps, but the average, and they can have a full-time job, and they're getting money on top of that. But yet, if you make over a certain amount a month, you can't be eligible to put food in your house. You know, a small bag of groceries. I went to Aldi's last week, and Aldi's is known for having good products. You know, they're not the best, but believe it or not, shopping at Aldi's and Trader Joe's, in my opinion, is a lot more healthier than shopping at Whole Foods. Even though Whole Foods disguise themselves as being a holistic food chain or grocery chain, it's really not. Now, they may have better products, but other than that, man, it's not too much different than your local grocery stores. So I go to Aldi's last week. I bought some Irish butter. I bought some bread. I bought what else? I bought some cinnamon. I bought what else did I buy? Maybe I bought some pepper jack cheese and maybe like 2 other items. And my bill came out to like 20-some bucks. You see? And the average person is mad about that. And you're seeing them going to TikTok and YouTube about these particular endeavors. But yet you got Jorge coming across the border with $5,000 a month in cash on his EBT card. Then you got another $10,000 in groceries. Like on the other side of my building, in the building I live in, you got some Hawaiians or some what are they? Samoans, I believe. Pacific Islanders, I said it that way. And they just came out of nowhere, man. And one of them work at a Walmart around here. But the other family, they don't even work. But yet they pull up in a new car. And when I take out the trash sometime, I can see into their apartment. And that shit look decked out. Like the person that was living there prior, like they just packed up and left everything in there and they decked this whole house out. You know, but when you look at them, they don't look like anybody that's upkept, like they know how to run a house. They crib look decked out. So in the back of my mind is like, I'm paying rent here, but where's their money coming from? You think they're paying that money? You think they're paying rent with the money they work? No, they're getting paid to be over here. Okay, but it says here, The data includes 2.7 billion records of personal information from Americans, including the social security numbers and physical addresses. And Gadget reported citing bleeping computer. It says who was behind the data theft? Esau. But it says a hacking group called the US DOD claimed in April to have stolen personal records from national public data in a massive data breach. It reads the NPD is a platform that offers personal information to employers, private investigators, staffing agencies, and others doing background checks, the Los Angeles Times reported. It says, citing a class action lawsuit filed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay. It says nearly all customers call text records exposing data breach. Wow. So if you send in selfies and booty pics and, D pics and feet videos and, sex videos to people or your Google accounts, they got all that information. Especially the freaky shit Jake be on. They got all that, man. And they leak that shit because this is the type of world we live in. All right. Anyway, let's go from here to I want to go to the Apocrypha. Matter of fact, yeah, let me go to the Apocrypha. Revelation 13. Because this is another way they can institute the MOT to the busy. At least in my opinion, I believe. Like I said, this is part of a regulatory system. So let's go from here to the book of Sirach 10. And let's start at verses 1. It says, a wise judge would instruct his people, and a government of a prudent man is well ordered. Okay, Esau is not a wise judge. He rules recklessly, and he has no type of he has no order, no structure. Okay, his system is totally chaotic. You got deforestation, you got microplastics in the ocean. People have forever chemicals, forever plastics in their bloodstream. You could totally never be healed. The food is tainted. The people are tainted. I mean, it's just a shit show, But it says here, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. But what manner of man the ruler of the city is such, all they that dwell therein? A bunch of degeneracy, man. It says an unwise king destroyed his people, but it says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city should be inhabited. Yeah, and the people are destroyed because he's unwise. Okay, he sells secrets to different corporations, and then when your information ends up breached, he wants to blame you and charge you for it. So at this time, should nobody be having to pay any debt? Your credit card should be totally wiped. Your credit report should be cleaned up. Everybody should get a fresh slate because technically they leaked everybody's information. So everybody should be sitting at an 850 or more credit score based on their indiscretions. But are they going to do that? No, because this is an unjust judge. It says, but the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh, and in due time he will set over one that is profitable. And one that's profitable is Yahweh Shai, fallen by the elect, okay, the men of the Lord. We're going to rule this earth in righteousness. There ain't going to be no data breaches. It ain't going to be no cyber attacks. It ain't going to be none of that. You ain't going to have to worry about going to the mailbox and you got a $100,000 debt notice in there because of somebody took your information or because of an uninsured motorist accident. It's totally tyranny, man. It's totally oppressive. You can't even live. This is why, we waiting on the kingdom. And Esau was falling fast. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy, for as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Of course. Okay, you can't trust this devil. You can't trust nothing he say. You want me to believe that a group of Iranians hacked your information, dissolved GP? No, they allowed them to do it. They gave them the keys to do it. Anything that happens wrong in the world, guess what? Blame the pale-faced male, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beardless male with the suit and tie. That's the first person you look at. He's the real terrorist on the planet Earth. Yeah, those other nations follow suit too, and they do wickedness and mischievousness. No, they do things as well, but they do it under his orders, under his beck and call. So anyway, I'm gonna end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.